Hello, everybody. Welcome again to another edition of Badger Blitz TV. I am Jake Kocorowski, senior writer at BadgerBlitz.com, your Rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics from the recruiting trail inside Camp Randall Stadium, of course, on the court of the Kohl Center. A lot going on, of course, Wisconsin men's basketball claiming a share of the Big Ten regular season title after the defeating number 8 Purdue in a crazy game last night inside the Kohl Center. We're recording on Wednesday night, and this is our weekly. We're going to talk about that hopefully later this week with some more video there. But this is our weekly recruiting Q&A. Of course, bringing back once again, good friend of the show, Rivals.com recruiting analyst Clint Cosgrove. Clint, how you doing this evening, man? Great seeing you once again.
Couldn't be better. Every time we get on here, I'm having a great time and a great day, man. So thank you for having me back. Excited to talk some recruiting, some ball, and hopefully you don't have me give a take on the basketball game because I don't know anything about it. I just know that they won.
It's all good. No, it's all good, man. I had some family stuff to do. We have Ben Morgels, our senior writer. Of course, he was at the game. Y'all go to BadgerBlitz.com. Check out all the quick hits, his takeaways from the win, and obviously a crazy one, a couple of bank shots that would make my dad jealous back in the driveway. Or at least me jealous, because my dad would also try to make those bank shots with those. He tried to use 5'10" and try and do a sky hook, and would not. Sometimes drop, sometimes not. But I digress.
You got to call him. You got to call him.
Yeah. He did not. He still tried to make them count. But within that, though, we're talking about recruiting, right? This is Wisconsin has its junior day coming up on March 6th. You've seen some of the graphics up there. I believe Caleb Black, a 2023 athlete, I believe he's being recruited as a wide receiver out of the Texas area. He is, he tweeted a graphic there. We go to BadgerBlitz.com, our Badgers Den forum for our subscribers. We've had a list of potential visitors coming up. I kind of wanted to ask you, Clint, because, I remember, back in 2020 before the pandemic, it's really, started in March, but Wisconsin had a couple of junior days, one in January, I believe, and one in March. I guess for those that don't know, what exactly is a junior day in terms of the school hosting it?
Well, it serves a number of purposes. I would say the big thing is you are bringing kids to you. You are bringing them to your campus. So it not only, takes time away from, pounding the pavement on the road, driving to the middle of nowhere, Iowa or Wisconsin to go and see a kid in person. Not only are you able to see them, you're able to get them to come to you, and you're able to get a lot of players to come to you at the same time. So it serves a couple purposes. From the coaching perspective, it is a way to eyeball players, get a feel for their personality, how they may fit in. So it is partial evaluation. It is partially selling the program, showing the facilities, giving the players an idea of what academic life is on campus, what kind of academic resources they like, what the facilities are like. They'll meet with the strength coach, learn about what the weight program is going to be like. So it serves a number of purposes. It is a great way to get a number of recruits on campus at the same time. And like I said, showcase your program, learn more about them, see who's a good fit. And, when you get a bunch of targets on campus at the same time, you hope that they develop some friendships, and then one commits. The other ones that you want are there. The dominoes kind of fall, and they start recruiting each other. So it serves a lot of purposes, anything from academics to showcasing the program to evaluating the kids that they bring in.
And so within that, who attends these junior days then? Is it just juniors becoming seniors? Are there younger players come in? Who's able to attend these?
So, the term junior day kind of goes back to when you didn't really get recruited until you were a junior, but there are younger kids who go on these junior days. It is a great opportunity for them to start developing relationships with the coaches, because the coaches' contact with them before September 1st of their junior year is very limited. And so what a lot of people don't understand in recruiting is, although there is a recruiting calendar and coaches are limited when they can contact you, general mail, such as something that could have your name on it or my name on it, that gets sent to me and it means the same thing, such as a junior day invite, can go out to kids at any age. And so that is a way to bring them to you. And starting your freshman year, maybe even before that, I mean, the rules constantly change, but if a kid reaches out to a coach, no matter what age, if that coach answers the phone when they call, they're allowed to talk to them. So this is kind of bringing that to another level where you get the kids on campus and then they're allowed to develop that relationship and communicate with you as a little earlier on, I guess. Now for the juniors, it's more about establishing or furthering those relationships. But yeah, a lot of players attend. You'll get anything from your top targets that you want there to some of their buddies might tag along to maybe some kids from in-state programs that are very strong that you want to build good relationships with. And some guys that, they might not be in your wheelhouse right now, but you bring them on because you never know what can happen, especially in-state kids. And it's a great way to showcase the program, and it's a great way to get kids in the state talking about the program as well. Not only in-state, but, beyond.
And so, within kind of the content of a junior day, what can or cannot be seen during a junior day? What can or cannot be done by a school during a junior day?
So I'm no longer the rules expert that I was when I was coaching, but pretty much anything is allowed from an academic and showcasing standpoint. Pretty sure they can, show film, they can, give tours, they can, like I said, meet with the strength coach, meet with the academic people. It's really a showcase of the program, facilities, and coaches. I believe the one thing that they really can't do is evaluate. You can't just throw a kid on the field and be like, well, let's go and watch him throw right now, or let's do some one-on-ones. So it is more of like an academic and program fit type thing, a relationship builder, and a way to kick off the recruitment for some, a way to just showcase the program to others.
And so, within that too, then we'll get to our Q&As on this. It's kind of a tangent, which is why I included the Q&A for those that subscribe to BadgerBlitz.com. Every Monday or every couple of weeks, we throw out a Q&A for Clint. And thank you to all the subscribers at BadgerBlitz.com for giving us some great material. And folks, for those, we're going to answer one question tonight, and then next week we'll have some questions going forward too, so that we'll have quite the we're going to have quite the content coming up the next couple weeks. But the question really revolves around the management of recruits, and the question is really, how do coaches manage the load of getting enough kids on campus and making time for high value targets without making the lower, maybe the quote unquote lower end targets, maybe the not as highly recruited prospects, feel less than at that point. How have you seen that?
Well, there's a couple of different ways to approach it. As you've seen back in the day, there would usually be like one junior day. Now you see teams having multiple junior days. Some of them will use one of the junior days as an opportunity to have more of their elite prospects and try to keep the extras, limited in those situations so that they are able to give equal amount of attention to their top priorities. Then you have some schools who, they're going to let anybody who's important, whether it be because of a connection, the high school potential, whatever it may be, come to that junior day. And it's really balancing relationships. Part of it is having a staff and a recruiting staff in place that can handle those things. 10 coaches that are just milling around when you've got maybe 80 kids on campus, you're not going to be able to give everybody the same attention. So that's really where the analysts, your recruiting department, maybe your recruiting secretaries, whatever it may be, they need to play a role, because every single person who comes to that junior day needs to leave with a good impression. They need to leave with the best impression of Wisconsin as possible. And if they go there expecting a great experience and then feel like they're ignored, that can really hurt, especially if they're close with the top prospect, especially if they go back home and maybe they're from Texas or somewhere else and they're like, it was garbage. They only paid attention to the kids that were, offered, or the kids that were close to home. It is a delicate balance. It's a little bit of a performance, but you do have to take care of everybody in attendance, and that includes parents. And sometimes it's going to be the least talented player with the parent who talks the most and wants the most. But you got to find a way to, have the infrastructure in place to make that person feel just as important as your top recruit. Just from student assistance, whatever you need to have there, you got to make sure that everybody is taken care of and everybody leaves a junior day with a great impression of the program. Because with Twitter nowadays and all of that, everybody's going to have an opinion, and you want people speaking positively about the program and experience when they leave. But a lot of it is you've got to have not only the amount of staff in play, you got to have the right staff in place, and you have to have coaches that want to recruit and do care. I know for me, when I was a coach, I tried to pay attention to the guys who maybe weren't the top target all the time. But you know what? A lot of these recruits, they appreciate that, especially if it's their friend. They might say, you know what? I know he's not a top target for you, but I really appreciate the way you took care of my friend. And so I think it really comes down to treating people right. And, obviously you got to take care of your top targets first and foremost. You're not going to spend all your time with a guy who has no chance, but you still do need to give them attention and make them feel like they belong at the same time.
And of course, at BadgerBlitz.com, we'll have a lot more content, we're guessing, after the junior day coming up this weekend. Clint, man, appreciate you as always. What do you have coming up for Rivals.com? What are some things that are coming up this week in the old pipeline with, I know you're a very, very busy man right now.
Oh, yeah, it's been a little crazy. I just got back from L.A. We had our first Rivals Camp Series event. That went great. Amazing talent. That was a lot of fun. So we're still putting out content from that. We have so much video, writing articles, whether it be recruiting updates or, I did a fun one the other day where I got to go around and ask a bunch of kids at the camp, how we all do the future casts and try to predict where kids will go. I put them on the spot and had them predict where the top players at the camp were going. And that was a fun one. That article should still be somewhere on Rivals. But, doing fun things like that, watching one-on-one matchups, breaking down that film, and really getting an in-person feel for these kids. So we've got a bunch more camps coming up. Miami's our next one. I'm going to be going to that one as well. It's not this weekend, but it's the one. It is the following weekend. And so I'll be down there for that. We've got our 2024 rankings coming out soon. So, our original 24 rankings had about 100 prospects, kind of like a watch list that we're giving 4 stars. We're going to do that full Rivals 250 with this. And so be on the lookout for that. I mean, there is, especially in the Midwest, there's some big-time players this year. So I'm pretty excited for that. And so we'll be knocking out that content, I believe, starting next week as well.
Clint, man, always enjoy having you on every week here on Badger Blitz TV. Have a great rest of the week, man. Looking forward to talking to you next week here on Badger Blitz TV.
My pleasure, man. Always a good time talking with you. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Folks, that's Clint Cosgrove, of course, recruiting analyst at Rivals.com. Folks, we'll come back next week. Again, like I told, I think I mentioned before, we're going to answer more questions from this past week's Q&A in the Badgers Den. That'll be up next week. A lot of good morsels of info there. I'm Jake Kocorowski. Again, BadgerBlitz.com. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of the week.